Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotees. So today is Friday, and it is Ashada Masa or Vamana Masa, Shukla Paksham, and so it is the first day today. So there is one event, Vaishnav event today. So today is the Srila Vakreshwara Pandita disappearance day. So we shall read a few lines from the ISKCON.com about Vakreshwara Pandita. So can I request Saranya Mataji, could you please read this?
Hare Krishna. Sri Venkateshwar Pandit was present with Sriman Mahaprabhu during his pastimes in Navadvipa, and after his acceptance of sannyasa, he also accompanied him to Jagannath Puri. During the time of the Lord's residence in Puri, he continued to live with him there as well. Sri Venkateshwar Pandit took birth in the village of Guptipara near Triveni. He was an especially proficient dancer, and Kirtaniya could dance continuously for 72 hours. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his pastimes of congregational chanting of his holy name of Sri Hari in Navadvip, Sri Venkateshwar Pandit was an important singer and dancer in that assembly. It was by his mercy that Devananda Pandit was delivered from the wrath of Mahaprabhu. He was also present during the Lord's journey to Ramakeli. Devananda Pandit was at one time known as the foremost lecturer on the Bhagavat. One day, Srinivas Pandit went to hear his discourse, and being moved in ecstatic love by hearing the Bhagavatam, he began to cry. A few of the ignorant students of Devananda Pandit, thinking that this was creating a disturbance, removed Srivas Pandit from the assembly and left him outside. Though he was done it in front of Devananda, he didn't restrain his students from this act of disregard to the devotee Bhagavat. There are two types of Bhagavat, the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. For this reason, Devananda Pandit became implicated in an offense to a great devotee, Mahabhagavat. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to hear how his dear devotee Srivas Pandit had been disrespected, he gave many instructions concerning the Bhagavat. He told that those who read the book Bhagavat but don't offer respect to the devotee Bhagavat are simply offenders. Though they may read the Bhagavat for eons, still they will never attain love of Godhead. The devotee Bhagavat and the book Bhagavat are not different. In order to understand the book Bhagavat, one must first sincerely serve the devotee Bhagavat. Therefore, Mahaprabhu neglected Devananda and didn't bestow his mercy on him. One evening, Vakreshwar Pandit came to perform dancing and chanting of the holy name at the house of one devotee from Kulia, across the bank of the Ganga and Nadia. Receiving this auspicious news, Devananda proceeded there, and upon seeing the appearance of the symptoms of the divine love in the person of Sri Venkateshwar Pandit, he became charmed. Gradually, a great crowd gathered at that place, and Devananda Pandit taking in his hand a cane in his hand, and kept the crowd in order so as not to obstruct the ecstatic dancing of Sri Venkateshwar Pandit. In this way, Venkateshwar Pandit performed dancing for two praharas, 6 hours, on into the night. When he finished dancing, he sat down. Devananda came and offered dandavat to the lotus feet of Sri Venkateshwar Pandit, who became pleased with this service and blessed Devananda with the words Krishna Bhakti Bhakti Hog. May you attain devotion to Sri Lord Krishna. From the day devotion was awakened in the heart of Devananda by the mercy of Venkateshwar Pandit, thereafter, when Mahaprabhu came to Nadia to have darshan of his mother and Mother Ganges, he bestowed his mercy on Devananda at Kulia. Because you have served Venkateshwar, I have noticed you. Venkateshwar is fully imbued with the Lord's transcendental energy, and whoever becomes devoted to him attains the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. His heart is personal abode of Sri Krishna. As Sri Krishna dances, so Venkateshwar also dances. Whenever one can get,
It is Vakreshwara.
so Vakreshwar also dances. Whoever can get the association of Vakreshwar, that place is the sum total of all holy places, as it is as good as Sri Vaikunta. Sri Vakreshwar Pandit's disciple was Gopal Guru Goswami, and Gopal Guru Goswami's disciple was Sri Dhyanchandra Goswami. In his Dhyanchandra Pantadi, Dhyanchandra Goswami has written, that person who was previously very expert in the arts of singing and dancing, the Gopi Tungavidya, is presently renowned in the world as Vakreshwar Pandit. He has appeared on the 5th day of the dark fortnight of the month of Ashada, June, July, Vamana Mase, and he closed his pastimes in the world on the 6th day of the bright fortnight of the moon Ashar. While Venkateshwar danced, Vakreshwar danced, Mahaprabhu himself would sing, and Vakreshwar could Vakreshwar could catch hold his lotus feet, saying, O moon-faced one, give me 10,000 Gandharvas and let them sing while I dance. Then I'll be happy. Mahaprabhu answered, you are one of my wings. If I had another like you, I could fly in the sky. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 10.17. Vakreshwar Pandit's worshipable deity is Sri Sri Radhakanda, whom he worshipped in Kashi Mishra's house, which was also the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gambhira. These deities are still being worshipped there in this day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vakreshwara Pandit ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. Kindly read, though there are some words are combined together. You did very nicely. Thank you so much, Mataji. That is from the event's perspective. We shall quickly move into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, he is speaking about the Virat Rupa to Narada Muni, explaining about the different limbs of the Lord. So yesterday he was speaking, Vikramo Bhurbhavaha Swasya Kshemasya Saranasya Cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Hare Sharanaspadam. So all the people of the three planetary systems, Bhuvarloka and Suvarloka, everyone from all the three planet systems, they take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are Sarvakama Varasyapi. They fulfill the benedictions to all the living entities. Hare Sharanaspadam, those are the shelter. So and later on today, he is speaking about the semen of the Virat Rupa, Purusha. And from which is the source for all the rains and also Prajapatis. And also the the genital of the Purusha, which is also giving the pleasure, and it will dissipate the pains one is going through, that kind of raising the children and begetting the children. So such kind of risks will be eradicated out just by the pleasure potency of the genital. So of the Purusha, that is coming from the Purusha. So likewise, Brahma is saying. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 6, verse number 8. Apam वीर्यस्य सर्गस्य पर्जन्यस्य प्रजापतेः पुंसः स्निष्ण उपस्तस्तु प्रजाति आनंद निवृतेः. Apam वीर्यस्य सर्गस्य. So apam is the water, वीर्यस्य सर्गस्य, and वीर्यस्य of the semen, and sargasya of the generative. So apam, so the Lord's virya, the Lord's semen is the water, and sargasya, that is the and of the generative. So it is generated from the semen. And what is that? Parjanya prajapatehe, and also the rains. Parjanyasya, Parjanya asya, the law, Parjanyasya of the rains, and Prajapatehe of the creator. These are the Prajapatis. Apam Viryasya Sargasya Parjanyasya Prajapatehe Pumsam Sishna Upastastu Prajati Ananta Nivrutehe, and Pumsaha of the Virat Rupa of the Lord, and Sishnaha, the genitals, Upastastu, the place where the genitals are situated, and Prajati, due to begetting, Ananda, pleasure, Nivrutehe, and the cause. So Pumsam Sishnu Upastastu, Prajati Ananda Nivrutehe, whatever the pains one is going through to beget the children, so that will be eradicated out by the pleasure potency of the genital of the Lord. This is apam viryasya sarghasya parjanyasya prajapatehe pumsaha sisna upastastu prajati ananda nivrutehe. So translation for this verse. From the Lord's genitals originate water, semen, generatives, rains, and the procreators. His genitals are the cause of pleasure that counteracts the distress of begetting. And purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request any unallocated devotees to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, shall I read it?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Purport by Divine Guru Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The genitals and the pleasure of begetting counteract the distress of family encumbrances. One would cease to generate altogether if there were not, by the grace of the Lord, a coating, a pleasure-giving substance on the surface of the generative organs. This substance gives a pleasure so intense that it counteracts fully the distress of family encumbrances. A person is so captivated by this pleasure-giving substance that is not satisfied by begetting a single child, but increases the number of children with a great risk in regard to maintaining them simply for this pleasure-giving substance. This pleasure-giving substance is not false, however, because it originates from the transcendental body of the Lord. In other words, the pleasure-giving substance is a reality, but it has taken on an aspect of pervertedness on account of material contamination. In the material world, sex life is the cause of many distresses on account of material contact. Therefore, the sex life in this material world should not be encouraged beyond the necessity. There is a necessity for generating progeny even in the material world, but such generation of children must be carried out with the full responsibility for spiritual values. The spiritual values of life can be realized in the human form of material existence, and the human being must adopt family planning with reference to the context of the spiritual values and not otherwise. The degraded form of family restriction by use of contraceptives, etc., is the grossest type of material contamination. Materialists who use these devices want to fully utilize the pleasure potency of the coating on the genitalia by artificial means without knowing the spiritual importance. And without knowledge of spiritual value, the less intelligent man tries to utilize only the material sense pleasure of the genitalia. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So this is Daivatkshupita Dharminyam Swasyam Yono Parah Puman Adatya Viryam Sasota Hiranmayam. So this is Adatya Viryam Sasota Hiranmayam. And the Hiranmayam is all the living entities. They are coming in the Lord inject all the living entities in this material world like a Supreme Father. And the material nature is the mother, and the Lord is the Father. Pitahma. Pitamahasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha. What is that one? Mata Dhata Pitamaha Ved. Okay, so that is Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So I am the father. So I give the seed. I am the seed giving father. Tasam Brahma Mahajjonir Aham Beja Pradah Pita. So that is Adatya Viryam Sasuta Hiranmayam. When he injects all the living entities, they are part of the golden egg cells that are coming from the Lord is body of the Lord. So all this, whenever they come into the Mahatattva, they are wrapped up by this Saptadhatus, all these material elements. And then once he comes into this living entity, once they come in contact with this material world, he come, and then once again, how he will come? This is by the in the direction of the divine nature. Everything comes in the divine nature. And Pumsam Striyam Putaraha Pumsam Retaha Kanashrayaha. By taking the shelter of the semen of the man, he enters into the womb of the mother. So during that time, there may be proper here explaining all these things here. So the living entity, he has got a consciousness until that point of time, the previous consciousness before he entered into the material world. And then as soon as he coming outside, and then he come in contact with this material world, immediately he forgets everything. And here mother and father, they goes through such kind of proper is explaining here. And I also request Ramlala Prabhuji, so if you could enlighten any points add to this Srimad Bhagavatam purport. Seta Sundari Mataji, Jaffna Kanya Mataji wanted to add anything? San Prabhupada here explaining this one. So mother goes through so much of pains. Mother goes through so much of pains to give a birth to the child. So in each and every month, there will be the vikara is happening in the body of the mother. These are explained by the Kapila Bhagavan in the 30th or 31th chapter of 3rd canto. How a living entity goes through pains whenever mother takes Katvamla Katu Tekshna Ruksha Vidahina. These are the food items which are bitter, sore, and everything. Then immediately the baby in the womb, he will Sarvanga Uttita Vedanaha. his pains are too much. The similar way, mother's body is also getting so many changes every day by day, and then to getting ready. So she will go through all kinds of pains and giving the birth. That is again another life for a woman. All these things are in Prabhupada is mentioning a coating, a pleasure-giving substance on the genitals that will counteract the pains. That's why they do not stop with only one child. They keep on going on and they engage in the mundane activities. Akshipta atmendriya strinam asitinam cha maya asitinam cha maya akshipta atmendriya in strinam kahorachitayalapaihi shishunam kalabhashinam. Likewise, a living entity, a person engages in this sexual pleasures. So this is everything is this as pleasure giving substance. So that is coming from the Virat Rupa. And how this living entity captured and wrapped up and entangled in this material world. This is the most powerful bijjate hृदय ग्रन्थस्य झन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ति चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. This is called the grandi, hृदय grandi, the strongest knot in this material world. And this is the technical process. Whatever Prabhupada is explaining here in this purport, it is the technicality. And what is the cause? This is the pleasure-giving substance. So one, and also Prabhupada says this is the itching disease. This is called itching disease. Whenever itching disease needs a scratching, so that engages in this sexual activities. One has to be free from this one. So this is only by hearing the Krishna Katha. And Prabhupada here, he says, okay, that one comes in the later on. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Brahma is saying that one to Narada Muni. That is, apam variasya sargasya pajanyasya prajapatehe pumsaha snisna upastastu prajati ananda nivrutehe. Nivrutehe. So that is his semen coming from Lord's genitals. That is the water, semen, generatives, rains, and the procreate, prajapatis. So in the Virat Rupa form, so I think in this form also, there are prajapatis are mentioned here, and which is the place for the rains, and also many other things. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly move into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Sriman Bankaji and March 30, 1970, Los Angeles. Can you request any unallocated devotees to read this letter? Sita Sundari Mataji, would you like to read? Or MP Mataji available? Samjana Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm on the way in bus.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, that's fine. Mataji. Okay.
I'm trying to get to the computer, Prabhuji, because this is too small for me. Yeah, it's a bit small for me, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Okay. May I read Prabhupada?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. My dear Sriman Bhakti, sorry, please accept my blessings. I beg to thank you very much for your kind letter dated 23rd February 1970, addressed to my London center and now redirected to me. I left London sometime by the end of December, and since then I am staying here, which is my headquarters. Here we have got the biggest center for training preachers
and the climate here is quite suitable for us Indian. I exactly remember you that you kindly took care of me when I was guest of Sri Hanuman Prasad Podarji, sometimes in the years 1961 or 62. I shall remember those days. I beg to convey my thanks again that you have remembered me even after so many years. I thank you very much also for your kind appreciation of my humble service in the cause of Krishna consciousness movement. I think every Indian is responsible for spreading this movement all over the world. That is the order of Lord Chaitanya in pursuance of the dictum of Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya says that everyone who has taken birth as a human being in the land of Bharatvarsha should sanctify his life, taking advantage of the Vedic culture and then distribute the knowledge for welfare activities of the rest of the world. As you are personally assisting Sri Podaji, it will not be difficult for you to understand how much Vedic culture is important for the human society. Vedic culture is perfect knowledge, and without that knowledge, a human being is a polished animal in different degrees. This Vedic knowledge is summarized in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the cream of all Upanishads. The Lord personally says in the Bhagavad Gita that the purpose of Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna, and Krishna can be understood by his divine devotee who has been fortunate to have little fraction of the Lord's mercy. Bhagavatam says, my dear Lord, one who has my dear Lord, one who has a little bit of mercy of the rays of your lotus feet can understand you a little bit. So far others are concerned, they may continue to speculate on you. Still, they are unable to know what you are.
Can we request the devotee mothers they could be
Okay.
Can I request the devotees to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is it in the Bhagavad Gita also? Is that because I just opened up my.
It's a letter.
Is it in the Bhagavad Gita also? The Lord says to Arjuna, I shall teach you the philosophy of the old system of Bhagavad Gita because you are my dear friend and devotee. This is the secret of understanding Lord Krishna or to enter into the confidential part of Vedic knowledge. The preaching of Bhagavad Gita has been going on both in India and abroad, but almost all of them on the speculative background without any knowledge of devotional service to the Lord. Many Swamis before me came in the Western countries and they say that nobody could act so wonderfully as I am doing. Perhaps it is right, but I do not know how such things are happening. The only reason that can be adduced is that I am presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The living entities are his eternal part and parcels. The duty of the part and parcel is to render service to the whole, as much as different limbs of the body are engaged to render service to the whole world. These things are very simple to understand, but when they are presented in a roundabout way, simply by jugglery of words, it becomes cumbersome and the desired result is not achieved. Lord Chaitanya advised that every one of the Indians should go outside and carrying his order or following his footsteps, one should preach Krishna Katha. The Krishna Katha is Bhagavad Gita as well as Srimad Bhagavatam. If you split the word Krishna Katha, then it becomes Krishna's words or words spoken about Krishna. So Krishna's words are directly Bhagavad Gita, and words spoken about Krishna is the Srimad Bhagavatam. I think the society to which you have referred in your letter under reply, namely Vishwa Hindu Parishad, should take up this message of Lord Chaitanya if they are actually serious about doing something for the Vedic culture, which is known as Hindu culture. Actually, there is no such word as Hindu in the Vedic literatures. The Hindu name was given by the Mohammedans with reference to the river Indus or Hindus from Sindhu. So, the Vedic culture is not for any sect of country, it is meant for the whole human society. In other words, Vedic culture is also known as Sanatana Dharma, which means eternal function of the eternal living entities. Krishna is eternal and we all are and we all living entities, being parts and parcels of Krishna, are also eternal. And the reciprocal exchange of love between the two eternal is called eternal occupational duty or Sanatana Dharma. I am very glad to know that you are very much anxious to cooperate with my movement in the Western world. And if you kindly do so, it is not only welcome, but also Krishna will be very much pleased upon you and bestow his blessings. If your friends who are educated and ambitious band of young workers will agree to follow my direction, I think they can render a great service to the human society. We should not anymore think in terms of Hindu society. If we limit ourselves to Hindus, then there will be many co- competitors like the Christians, Mohammedans, Buddhists, and so on. But if we preach the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in right earnest, it will be accepted throughout the whole world. And that is practically experienced during the last 3 or 4 years. There are thousands of my disciples, European and American. Their background is not Hindu culture, and still they are accepting this Krishna consciousness philosophy. Some of my students are from the Mohammedan sects also, but all of them conjointly are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, dancing in ecstasy, honoring Krishna Prasadam, and happily living on Vedic principles, namely as brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, or sannyasa. Not to mention their personal dealings in the matter of 4 kinds of prohibitive regulations. Namely, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. So we have to train the whole younger generation at the present moment by the simple method recommended by Lord Chaitanya, and then this moment Krishna consciousness will spread all over the world. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher is Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Any take your points, Usha Mataji and Prabhavati Mataji, this letter.
Yeah, I think Usha Mataji, if you want to go ahead, she can start. Prabhuji, this letter is really very, very nice and so much of information regarding the Vedic culture and Krishna consciousness movement. Also, Srila Prabhupada is saying, explaining about the Sanatana Dharma and the 4 regulative principles and so much, and also the important thing, essence from Bhagavad Gita. We are all part and parcels of Krishna, all the living entities. So actually, there is a this one in India. We think that we are all Hindus. Srila Prabhupada is giving a very good reference why we are not Hindus. Actually, we are called as Sanatanis. So the name Hindu, why it is came, he's explaining very well. It came from the river Indus, and the Mohammedans, they didn't know how to pronounce. Actually, I too heard from one of the lecture from Srila Prabhupada that they were not able to pronounce properly the Indians, then they started calling them Hindus like that. Then it came as Hindus. It is not a religion actually. Our dharma is Sanatana dharma. As Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita also, we came from the eternal world, and we have to go back to eternal world, which is the Goloka Vrindavana. So it was always existing, and it is nothing new. It is always existed from long time. And Srila Prabhupada also explaining about the Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means it is the words spoken by Lord Krishna. So, which is Bhagavad Gita, and he is explaining about the Srimad Bhagavatam also. Srimad Bhagavatam is about Lord Krishna and about his devotees. So, and Srila Prabhupada is encouraging, his name is Sriman Bankaji. He is more than welcome to accept Krishna consciousness, and being Indians, being born in India, everybody's responsibility is to accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and we have to spread the Krishna consciousness movement not only in India, the whole world, which was told by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody will get a lot of mercy through that, and we will get the blessing from Krishna. And I don't know if Mataji wants to explain. I don't mind, Prabhuji. She can. This is a beautiful letter.
Mataji, you carry on, Mataji. I don't know how to explain, please.
I
Please
am
carry
also okay. And Srila Prabhupada is very happy about his desire to take up this Krishna consciousness movement. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining how his disciples, being not Indians, not Hindus, they accepted very easily Krishna consciousness movement, and they accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they started chanting the holy name of the Lord. They are accepting the prasadam, and they're spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, and also they are following the regulative principles so well, which is no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. I think it's a reminder for all of us every time that though we know that the regulative principles are existing, sometimes we are kind of not very serious about that. Also, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about in this one Varnashrama Dharma, four ashramas especially, how his his disciples are happily accepting and following strictly this brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa ashram, which is very inspiring for all of us. And being, I think, born in India, also we should be more into spreading Krishna consciousness. I think how we can see how this Western people are accepting so easily, but it is in India it is very difficult. When you ask somebody, our own relatives, when you ask them, can you please join Bhagavad Gita class? Can you please come to temple? There is a nice program happening, and they just they say it's all the same. Whatever you whichever God you follow, whichever God you do, it's all same. Everything is the same. Everything goes to the same one. So when we read Bhagavad Gita as it is, Prabhupada stressed the point Bhagavad Gita as it is, so which is not been changed. There is a beautiful example Srila Prabhupada has given in Science of Self-Realization, I think so, regarding Bhagavad Gita. He says one example, like one analogy he gives. Postman, when he's delivering the parcel to the customers, he's just not opening and checking what is there inside. So he will just deliver the parcel to the particular person directly without opening as it is. So that's the best example which always I remember and which I like it. So this is what the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. We have to read. Srila Prabhupada is explaining. So we should not be, inspired by other books. There are so many other books which I have also read before, like from other people who have written. Like in India, there is a book called as Gita Press. So I have read that one. So there is a big difference in there and in here. So we should not be encouraged and inspired to read other books and encourage people to read Bhagavad Gita as it is. To encourage, we have to have the knowledge and we have to attend classes. We have to listen to Srila Prabhupada's classes and our Srila, His Grace Amok Prabhu is giving beautiful classes. So we have to listen from all the devotees as well. Thank you so much. This is what I understood, Prabhuji. I think there is so much to say. Everybody can share, whoever wants to share. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautifully explained. Okay, any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add? Lala Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah, Mataji has explained very nicely, very careful, maximum point, all of the point already covered. Yes. Yeah. So sometimes people have confusion about the thing. That is also, I am repeating maybe, that they think everything is same. But Prabhupada mentioned, no, everything is not the same. That was, they think that, okay, we worship this God, that God, everything is the same. So they have misconception. But Prabhupada mentioned, no, in the Bhagavad Gita, what it was mentioned, that we have to Sarva Dharman Parityajya. This is the one point he always mentioned. This is the Bhagavad Gita, the reference, always giving the reference. But they think everything is the same. No, there is no different. Oh, it's okay. And people are very hesitation to come to consciousness. They think it is something else. So this one is the actually and Indian people they think they have misconception. They are absorbed something wrong idea because of another. If they are coming to the Krishna consciousness, they have to give up what is the regulative principle, and they have to do japa. So that is the main thing, but they don't like to do that. So this is secret. And here also Prabhupada mentioned, if we follow Bhagavad Gita, then we back to Krishna, back to Godhead. And that was Prabhupada whole life. He has presented this point. So this is the one thing, and other thing, Prabhuji, you have highlighted, yeah. Yeah. So that also actually this is also the same thing you highlighted. This one, that another thing, because in the maybe not this this is highlighting from this letter, we inspired to say Prabhupada another time mentioned there is a many yogi, many swami, they are so-called swami, so-called yogi. So those who are in the path of Hare Krishna movement, they have to give the correct information so that they will not to engage something wrong conception. They have to clarify this thing. Yes. So, and he mentioned many preacher, many so-called swami, they visited in Western, but nobody become as a devotee. So that is why, and nobody was not inspired to become as a devotee of Lord Krishna. So that's why he is highlighting this point. And we are observing the result. Whatever after Bhagavad Gita as it is, after presenting that, and many devotees, and also whatever Prabhupada believe, he was one of the example, and people follow that one. So that is the difference. That is the main essence. So it's interesting. I mean, this letter is very, very nice, and it is focusing on so that we have to do our devotional service, and we have to follow the regulative principle, and it is granted to back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add? It is from Prabhupada's letter. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement, Bharat Bhumi te haila manushya janmayara janma sadhya kari paravupakara. Paravupakara. So one has to help. So that is Etavad Janma Lokesmin Dehinam Iha Deheshu Iha Dehinam Pranaihi Addaihi Dhiya Vacha Pranaihi Addaihi Dhiya Vacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. All the time one has to do the Shreya Acharanam Sada. Krishna says to Uddhava, Etavad Janma Lokesmin Deheshu Iha Dehinam प्राणैहि अद्दैहि दियावाचा श्रेय आचरणं सदा भारत भूमिते हैला मनुष्य जन्मयार जन्म साध्य करी पर उपकार. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's both are aligning. So always one has to elevate himself and do the good for others, good to do others. Nacha tasman manusheshu kashid me kashid what is that verse? Nacha tasman manusheshu kashid me priyakritamah. So he is the most dearest person to the Krishna and also to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whoever is spreading the Krishna's word, engaging his time. Pranaihi Addehi Diya Vacha. Okay, that is from this Prabhupada's letter. Prabhupada has been doing that one. So that's why we see how he was very dear to Krishna. Krishna is fulfilling all his Prabhupada's desires to spread Krishna consciousness. And desires are always aligned to Krishna. All Krishna's plans, that's all. Okay, that is from Prabhupada's letter, very beautiful letter. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji. And from the announcements point of view, so tomorrow we don't have guest speakers. We are going to continue by ourselves at 7 p.m. or regular Bhagavad Gita Sangha. Tomorrow morning we continue our Srimad Bhagavatam, that description of Vaikuntha, kingdom of God. Okay, that's all from the announcements point of view. Dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, there are no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripa samudbhayeva patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
नमो नमः
ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai.
जय
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Hare Krishna conscious